Well, hello everyone. We have quite a bit of voter fraud stuff to cover here today, so this video specifically is going to look at what happened in Michigan last night into this morning, and then I'm going to save everything that came out of the press conference that Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Jenna Ellis had later, and that covers Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, everywhere else. So we're just going to break this up because this Michigan stuff is pretty dense right now, and that entire press conference is its own fucking bag of insanity, which we'll hit up in a minute. So, first things first for all you anti-Trumpers out there. Oh, hee hee ha ha ho ho, Trump had to withdraw one of his federal lawsuits from Michigan. Oh, he couldn't win on that one? Well, don't get your panties too moist. The campaign for President Donald Trump withdrew a much ballyhooed federal lawsuit on Thursday. You can literally hear the smile in this lump of shit Dave Boucher's voice, incorrectly characterizing the actions of Wayne County Board of Canvassers as its rationale for the decision. The campaign championed the suit when it was filed last week, with surrogates speaking on national television about more than 100 affidavits from Republican poll challengers and others included in the lawsuit. Now, why did they have to withdraw the lawsuit? Well, as much as Dave wants to try to cloud your judgment on the entire situation, it's really not necessary anymore. Because we'll go ahead and we'll recover this, and we'll get into the all of the seedy details that came out about that, which, I was fairly poisonous in my coverage of it yesterday, because I think doxing people who blatantly see that something's a little bit fucked up, it doesn't really matter which side you line up on, if you're a Trump person like me, or if you're a Biden person like some of my other friends out there. You just want to know the actual results, and if you see something's fucked up and you don't want to sign off on it, that is your name that's going to be on that list, therefore you have a say in the matter. But yeah, because you just don't want to blindly believe that there was something ridiculous going on, you deserve to have you and your family's lives ruined. An online swarm of outraged Michiganders that makes it seem a lot more numerous than it actually was. I'm starting to think that all of these people who are shouting the loudest are actually the smallest in physical numbers. Like, okay, whenever you see toxic behavior, it's in... I know my YouTube comment section is actually fairly good. I think the positive comments outweigh the negative comments. And by negative comments, I don't mean like, oh, okay, if I fuck up and get something wrong, that's totally fine. Please do correct me. I'm talking about just the little one-line replies that don't really add to the conversation. Those are probably outnumbered like 10 to 1 between the good conversations I have with a bunch of different people at this time. And I want to thank you guys, because yesterday overnight I hit 100 subscribers, and that's about 2 months earlier than I figured I would. I've only had this channel open and operating for 3 months now, and yeah, it's a shade under 3 months, I think. And yeah, to already hit 100 subscribers, thank you all very much. Now I get my own custom URL, so I can tell you guys to go to, youtube.com/ whatever it's going to be, instead of youtube.com/user/xy948273 purple. But yeah, I don't beg for likes or beg for subs, and that's just all outside of that 1 week when I tried that, and it just felt dirty. But yeah, like I said, I don't like to do that kind of stuff, so this is just all kind of organic. You guys just appreciate the content that we put out here, and maybe some of you are around for the good conversation that we have, and I appreciate every single one of you. It's really hard to quantify 100 people taking what I have to say seriously, but I do hard work on this, and I put forward the best possible product that I can with every video, and I'm glad you guys appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anyways, let's go from the positive stuff into the toxic behavior, and then we're eventually going to kind of rainbow that around to something great that came out of this. Verified use. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just fucking redo this. An online swarm of outraged Michiganders, verified users. Oh, you love those blue check marks. You love to see them. And amateur internet sleuths turned the topic of a local Zoom meeting into a vicious national frenzy Tuesday night. You know what? After you read that entire sentence, it kind of makes sense, but not in the context that they want you to think it is. Because it's just, like I was saying there, the vocal minority just spurging out because you aren't just counting every vote. Because, like we're going to cover in the next video, there's a bunch of weird Okay, most charitable interpretation, irregularities when it comes to these votes that were coming in. Eesh. After Republican members of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers first refused to certify the results of the election, good on them, Twitter users spam the site with their names, personal details, and links to their social media pages. The goal appeared to create offline consequences for the two Republican board members, Chairperson Monica Palmer and William Hartman. People scrutinize Hartman's Facebook posts going back to 2013. Because the people who are always the most negative are the most jealous and envious of anyone else's success. You guys notice that whenever you put out an opinion out there, or even more specifically, if you create something in your job that you do, like you do something with your hands, you build something, you fix something, you're a mechanic, you're doing hard work out in the oil field, you do something of tangible benefit to society. Who are the people who always come up and try to pick holes in it? It's that little weakling who wouldn't normally say anything directly to you, and is just sad with their existence. That's just kind of how you have to look at it. At least that's what I'm seeing. And because they're, well, abject losers, they have nothing better to do than to sleuth back on some fucking chairperson's Facebook posts that are over 7 years old. Like, for fuck's sakes. Go for a walk. Put on a mask. Keep convincing yourself that the sky is falling. Yeah, put on your Biden toque and take your shitty little dog for a walk and go see your friend who's wasting away in his housecoat. What? One user called for the people to find out where the two worked. Another user believed he found a Boy Scout troop for which Hartman was a scoutmaster. Obviously, that is abhorrent behavior. But on the other hand, I kind of got to give it to him because they found all of this information so quickly. And that's what also makes this a little bit frightening. The fact that they can get all of your personal information like that. Some people watching the meeting online became outraged when the two Republican board members made the unprecedented move to vote against certifying the election in 43 jurisdictions. This meant not certifying the votes in places such as Detroit, Michigan's largest voting jurisdiction, and because you didn't do it, that means, oh, my racism. We'll get to him in a minute. After more than 2 hours of public comment, the Republican members changed their votes. After more than 2 hours of public harassment, is how that should read, they were forced to change their vote. However, online harassment shifted overnight, and by the morning, people had zeroed in on one man who spoke against the holdup during public comment period. Y'all remember Abraham Ayash from yesterday, and if you don't, well, we'll get, unfortunately, more familiar with him. And remember, he doesn't even have institutional power yet. He is a presumptive representative-elect. And I'm not saying he should lose that title or anything, but because he spearheaded this harassment campaign, I'm just saying we should look at different avenues to see if all of his T's are crossed and his I's are dotted. Abraham Ayash from Detroit ran unopposed for Michigan's House of Representatives 4th District after the death of State Representative Isaac Robinson, a Democrat, in March. The fact that he ran unopposed is a little bit sus too, because if you take a look at the electoral map of Michigan, yeah, there's a whole, it's kind of like that in every state, to be completely honest. There's a whole bunch of red, and there's just a couple of blotches of deep blue. You are certainly showing you are a racist. He doesn't talk like that, but that's fair. Ayash said, you may say that you are not. There we go. Like I was saying yesterday, if you can't prove it, we'll just keep on accusing it because you can't unprove it. It's not enough to be not a racist. You have to be anti-racist. You may claim that you are not, but let me be very clear. Let me be clear. Taking cues from his former boss. Your words today and your actions today make it clear that you are okay with silencing votes of more than an 80% African-American city. Yeah, but Wayne County also encompasses places like Grosse Pointe and several other suburbs of Detroit. So, you know. Twitter user Correct the Media shared a 25-second clip of Ayash's comment. The caption on the video made the false claim that Ayash threatened Palmer and her kids, and he revealed where the kids attend school. Okay, this is going to get a little bit weird, so just take the fact that they said that Ayash made a false claim with a grain of salt, because we're going to wrap this up here in a hot second. In the video, Ayash says, what this tells you, Miss Monica Palmer of Grosse Pointe Woods, names the neighborhood that she's from, which has a history of racism. once again, just throwing out baseless accusations, are deciding to enable and continue to perpetuate the racist history of this country. And I want you to think about what that means for your kids who probably go to Grosse Pointe North, naming a specific school that is districted to where she lives. And when they see all their black classmates and they know that ... Now, that took him 25 seconds to say, and I don't think I took that long, but to be fair, I'm not as worked up as he was during this call. The video cuts off Ayash mid-sentence. What he said next provides important context to his comments. Oh, does it? Oh, does it? Their mother or grandmother, their aunt, decided to say in this democracy, in this American project. He's one of those assholes that thinks that the American dream has never been realized. Yes. Meanwhile, he is a man of Middle Eastern descent who came over and has now been elected to the state legislature of Michigan. What a racist country. That is not perfect, but we have to work forward to perfecting it. I'm going to be comfortable sleeping at night knowing that I silenced the votes of so many people. So how does that make it any better? Let's read the entire statement in context. What this tells us is you, Miss Monica Palmer of Grosse Pointe Woods, which has a history of racism, is deciding to enable and continuing to perpetuate the history of racist history in this country. And I want you to think about what that means for your kids who probably go to Grosse Pointe North, and when they see all their black classmates, and they will know that their mother or their grandmother, their aunt, decided to say in this democracy, in the American project, that is not perfect, but we have to work towards perfecting it. I'm going to be comfortable sleeping at night knowing that I silenced the votes of so many people. How does that make it better? Not even tangentially can you prove that that makes it any better. Adding on that little bit, all he's doing is just slandering her extended family and trying to sow the seeds into her conscience that, she's disenfranchising so many votes out there. Votes which may or may not belong to any people that we can properly cross-reference. But of course, being the good journalists they are over there at the Detroit Free Press, they got comment from Ayash. So he told the Free Press, based on his comment, on an assumption because Palmer founded the nonprofit taxpayer for Grosse Pointe schools. Again, that doesn't make it any better. I swear to God, I'm sure he said something different than God. I don't even know if she has kids. He was trying to appeal to her moral compass by berating and belittling her and calling her names. That normally gets your point across, right? What's the old saying? You catch more bees with honey than you do with bomb threats? More than 300 people watched through the Zoom link and at least 100 more on another live stream. They also failed to mention that that initial Zoom call was delayed several hours and there was technical difficulties in the original Zoom call because there was only supposed to be 100 people watching it, and then they had to expand it out further to allow another 300 people to come in and watch. In 2016, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers met for less than an hour in person to certify the general election results because there wasn't so many mail-in discrepancies, you disingenuous hacks. When the board chair asked for public comment, no one spoke. Yes, because they were too busy getting personal phone calls from a bunch of psychopaths. I had no idea this was going to become a national headline for I haven't heard this term in 3 years? 2 years? How long's it been? For the alt-right. What a boogeyman to just drag out of your closet. Race-baiting dickhead. That's what this guy is. Yelling racist accusations at people and meanwhile evoking, I don't know the actual size of the alt-right anymore. Is it somewhere akin to the Klan? Is it like a couple hundred people? Like what does Richard Spencer pull for one of his speaking engagements? He would probably pull the attendance records off the Biden website, considering he is one of his proudest supporters. Oh, but of course, we'll give the devil his due. People have threatened Ayash through social media. The messages are graphic, Ayash said. Some messages include his siblings' names. Some are racist. Others threatened his life, he said. Some included his address. Cite the source, fucker. I couldn't find any. But that's enough there. Detroit Free Press, you're just giving this guy a fucking platform to come on and cry bully. Shame on you. What can you expect? It is Detroit after all. One of the major Democratic machines out there. But all of this was just window dressing for the strange turn of events Let's hop on over to this little story here. Donald Trump called Monica Palmer after Wayne County Board meeting. Monica Palmer, the Republican chairwoman of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, who initially voted on Tuesday against the certifying the county's election results, then reversed her vote. Said Thursday she received a phone call from President Donald Trump Tuesday evening after the meeting ended. Palmer said she did not know how long the call lasted, saying there was a lot of stress and adrenaline that night. He was checking to make sure I was safe and seeing and hearing about the threats and doxing, Palmer wrote in a text message referring to a firestorm of information released about her on social media. Palmer earlier told the Free Press her family had received multiple threats. The threats had been made against myself, my daughter, and my husband. The reason why I take those a little bit more seriously, not because, this is my preferred side of the aisle. Obviously, you guys can see the content I put out there and understand that I would lean a little bit center right, and based on the political compass tests and 8 values tests out there, yeah, it's center right. So fucking sue me. Is because which side actually has a history of doxing and violence? I will give you a quick second to think about that. If it took you longer than that, let me just take you back to a far distant land 6 months ago. How was Minnesota looking? Or skip ahead a couple of months. How was Kenosha, Wisconsin looking? Yeah, exactly. It comes from one side, folks. And it's all but recommended in the algorithms on the social media platforms when it comes to doxing and allowed to be left up there. There are multiple Antifa pages out there that still have active doxes of police officers in Seattle and in Portland. So, But once again, you always hear this weird thing that President Trump has no empathy. He's just all in it for himself. And yeah, because Monica Palmer and her family took a significant amount of shit for standing up for, democracy, a fair and balanced election. She verifiably was doxxed, and she's not saying death threats, but receiving multiple threats. I don't think that these would be baseless if they went to the FBI and the police. So yeah, Trump has got to be fucking super busy at this point in time. So the fact that he took however long he did, she can't be asked to remember, but would it be fair to assume 5, 10, 15 minutes? Still, taking that time out of a very, very, very hectic schedule right now to get to the bottom of this and to make sure that, she's all right, and thank her for her service, assumedly. But like we got tipped off here to the final article. Republican canvassers asked to rescind their vote certifying Michigan election results. The Republicans in it said they initially felt pressured by the public ostracism. Michigan election certification process just got messier. The 2 Republicans on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers are now seeking to rescind their decision to certify their county's results a day after the deadline in a pair of affidavits signed late Wednesday night. So this shit ain't baseless, much like those calls to violence that the Palmer family received. Yeah, they're backing it up with some legal precedent here. The evening before the 2 Republican canvassers on the Wayne County Board of Elections signed the affidavits, President Donald Trump spoke with both Monica Palmer and William Hartman. Oh, good to know. On Tuesday, after the second vote to certify the results, sources tell ABC News it was not immediately clear if the latest move to reverse their votes was discussed. ABC News has reached out to both Palmer and Hartman, and see, I would believe ABC News over Detroit Free Press in the fact that they actually got responses from their requests by both Palmer and Hartman, whereas a couple of articles ago they said that they didn't get any response. So, Palmer, who is on the chair board, told the Detroit Free Press that she spoke with the president about the threats to her safety. That was the previous article, obviously. He was checking to make sure that she was safe, yada yada. 2 GOP members on the County Board of Canvassers disavow their decision to certify the county's results a day after the deadline in a pair of affidavits signed late Wednesday night. Yeah, this dropped just before I was going to bed last night, and I knew this had to be the first video of the day. Both Palmer and the Republican chair on the county boards and Hartman, a Republican member, said after the initial vote against certifying the results, they were enticed Tuesday into affirming their election results after they were given assurances by the board's vice chairman, Jonathan Kinloch, that the vote would be independently audited, which I also mentioned as well. When asked late Tuesday night if they would commit to a comprehensive audit, Michigan's Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, a Democrat, oh my God, I know I'm surprised too, hedged and said she would only look into it. That would be the catalyst for them rescinding their vote then, because the entire reason that they voted to certify it, even after all the doxing occurred, was the fact that they were going to look at the vote. And if she's going to backpedal, that's weird for a Democrat to backpedal. Said that she would only, take a look at it because her candidate won. What are you, racist? Do you want me to get Ayash back in here? Kinloch confirmed to ABC News that he gave the assurance, but added that he had been unable to reach the Secretary of State on Tuesday night to get her commitment. Yeah, so he was writing checks that his ass couldn't cash. Sure is weird, huh? I'm just surprised ABC News, even just reading this, it's like they're actually doing some really decent coverage on this. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State is shooting down the possibility that the 2 Republican members rescinded their vote, saying it is out of their hands at this point. I don't think it is. There is no legal mechanism for them to rescind their vote, the spokesperson said. Their job is done, and the next step in the process is for the Board of State Canvassers to meet and certify. Listen, retard. In a record time, you said that the next step, it's not even official, right after the fact that they certified, and then they're going to be suing to rescind it. It's like if you're being chased by the cops, but you drive into your house and you close your garage door, and then you don't think you have to answer for that because you got home before they can pull you over? Yeah, shit don't work that way. The number of votes at issue is too small to influence the outcome of the election. No, it's not. President-elect Joe Biden currently holds a substantial edge. It is not. Over Trump in Michigan, leading by nearly 150,000 votes, which is almost 15 times the president's margin over Hillary Clinton in 2016. But that was hacked by the Russians. In Wayne County, the state's largest, Biden is ahead by over 300,000 votes, with nearly 70% of the vote. Nothing to see here, folks. It's weird how, okay, I was just praising ABC, but now I'm going to nitpick a little bit. Okay, Biden is ahead by over 300,000 votes and 70% of the vote. Now, what were those margins in 2016? What were those margins in 2012 with a Democratic candidate who happened to be half black? What were they historically? What has the voter turnout there been historically? It's almost like I'm tipping my hand to what we're going to cover at the end. Nevertheless, the 2 GOP members suggesting they feel they were misled, obviously, are now reverting to earlier position, arguing that they have too many concerns about what they called out-of-balance precincts in Detroit. By that, they mean too many voters to registered voters, in which the number of votes cast and a number of voters signed in at the polls are mismatched to certify, obviously. And here's the crux of it. They both said in their review of the results, more than 70% of Detroit's 134 poll books were left unbalanced by a significant margin, by the way. Yeah, that would be 94 districts, by the way. And you're really going to make, well, they want to say everything is baseless claims. You want to make baseless claims about a issue that is too small to influence the outcome, but yet say that it is the largest county in Michigan and 94 of those poll books are unbalanced, which according to the Detroit News also happened during the certification process in August primary. It wasn't to that level, now was it? And in November 2016 election, but it did not keep the board from certifying. Once again, it also leads me to believe that it wasn't even close to being at the same margins as this if they were the same people who certified the vote before. And ABC conveniently leaves that little notch out there. So what they're trying to do before we get to the actual information is they're trying to poison the well on the entire situation, making it think like this is something that just happens all the time. Why are you guys asking questions about this now? Just count all the votes. Benson said that the discrepancies are common clerical errors. Of course a Democrat would say that, with the paperwork and not signs of irregularities in the vote tally. The fact that there is more voters than people who could legally vote would tell me that there are definitely irregularities there, such as a voter spoiling a ballot or showing up and then not voting. Do you really think that would happen more than once? More than twice? Would they go through the hassle of signing up to vote and then turning right around and not coming back? Like, they have pens there, and in Arizona they had Sharpies for you. There is no reason not to vote. That is like these ridiculous accusations that yes, several thousand people would only come in and vote for Biden. Lots of people just come in and only care about the presidential race. Yes, to the tune of tens of thousands of people. I can understand it happening sporadically, but come on now. You're stretching the truth here. Let's get to the legal stuff. I rescind my prior vote to certify Wayne County elections, Palmer wrote in the affidavit. I voted not to certify, and I still believe this vote should not be certified. Hartman wrote in his affidavit. Well, what's he rescinding then? He voted not to certify, so yep, there we go. Until these questions are addressed, I remain opposed to the certification of the Wayne County results. Klinnock, a Democrat, I knew it, pushed back against the latest maneuver by his Republican colleagues, saying that the vote to certify is final, no takebacks. It is a wasted attempt to unravel a lawful vote in order to calm the Republicans' rancor. Just a bunch of $10 words here by this fuck. We all knew would occur after they left this meeting. The certification is secure from yellow belly politricks. What a fucking pole smoker. Which are trying to reverse Donald Trump's misfortunes in Michigan. Yeah, we cheated. They found out that we cheated. What do you mean you don't want to certify it? We worked so hard to cheat. Upon certifying the election, we took a subsequent vote to waive reconsiderations of the certification vote. It is final. This goose is cooked. Yeah. Words of a desperate individual. Hey, listen, we just told you that, hey, bad shit was going to happen if you don't fucking vote for our vote to certify. Like, what the fuck do you ask for us? They said, hey, you know what? We'll break one finger, but hey, you got 9 other good working ones. You can still sign that. Oh, what? You don't want to do that? Okay, how about we break a couple more? You want to fucking sign it now, huh? Hey, don't fucking make this more difficult than it needs to. We know where your kids go to school, by the way, in Grosse Pointe, huh? Fucking come on. We all know shady shit doesn't happen in Detroit. ABC News has reached out to Wayne County Board of Elections and the 2 Republican members of the board to confirm that all 4 board members officially signed any necessary documents related to certifying the result, but did not hear back as of Wednesday. So I guess it's not as official as those couple of Democrat hacks would like you to believe. On Tuesday, a few chaotic hours unfolded when Palmer and Hartman initially refused to certify the county's election results, which was widely criticized as a partisan move of people who have eyes. Therefore, the people who didn't have eyes just wanted you to blindly follow them, only for them to change their votes at the same night, after hours of pressure, like we've seen before. But let's see what they are actually contesting here. There's been a lot of conjecture. There are signed affidavits out there from the 2 individuals who have seen the fraud firsthand. Irregularities, whatever the fuck you want to call them. It's hilarious. I gotta go to a morning talk show in order to get any sort of straight information, but Steven Crowder did a great morning mug club, his morning show. If you don't know, you don't know. He broke it down here, and I'll just give you the highlights. Michigan Board of Canvassers refused to certify Wayne County after absentee ballot poll books at 70%, 94, like I said, out of the 134 absentee counting boards were found to be out of balance without explanation. Michigan already had problems with mail-in ballots earlier in the August 4th primaries. Like I said, ask questions when they don't provide the additional information required for you to make an informed decision. When 6,400 mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, had to be thrown out, including 846 ballots from dead voters. I can see why ABC left that out. A glitch in Antrim County flipped 6,000 votes blue when the clerk forgot to update the software. That was the one that's been reported for, quite a while now. That, why isn't Antrim County reporting? Okay, they reported. Wow, that's a historically Republican area. I can't believe that they... Oh, no, wait. By the way, Dominion voting systems flipped that. Oh, shit. Okay. And that same software is used in 47 other counties. So I'll link to this if you guys want to read the 234 pages of Republican affidavits, but here's the highlights. Ballots were run through machines 5 times. Seems to be confirmed by internal numbers showing ballots are run through multiple times, and that's also what Palmer and Hartman were alleging as well in their affidavits, and they were the ones who actually got to see the raw numbers up close. Ballots not in the voter database were entered using a fake birth date of January 1st, 1900. Mazel tov on so many century babies. Ballots logged even when they had no signatures or weren't registered. That means that they aren't valid, by the way. Poll workers duplicated ballots to incorrect precincts to run through 2 ballots for one person 20 to 30 times. 60% of ballots in one box had the same signature. I mean, come on, you can easily explain that away. Just Biden is so goddamn popular. And somebody just had so many pots of coffee there, and they were just up all night just fucking scanning, signing those fucking signatures. But remember, guys, no evidence of widespread voter fraud. And finally, a city employee claimed she was asked to backdate ballots. That's weird, because you definitely didn't hear a similar story coming out of Pennsylvania or anything like that. Brand new story, I guess, so something new to uncover for yourself. And here's the final of the final. Now, this is what Hartman and Palmer were exclusively concerned with. Most of those other accusations that were happening were very much involved with Wayne County, but they also involved, like, Antrim County is obviously not Wayne County. I know geography's fun, but this is exclusive to Wayne County. So results by precinct. Yeah, this was the big find from this morning here. Now this is right on, as you can see right up here, the Wayne County elections results page. Couldn't get more official than that. And there are 72 pages of this, and we'll just go ahead and get down to the spicy parts. Oh, see, I'm kind of slightly retarded too. I just clicked on the wrong one to open. Anyways, yeah, we got City of Detroit specifically. Okay, you got registered voters. Obviously, this is one precinct, so 752 on election day. 114 votes cast for turnout of about 15%. As you can see, there's something similar, you know, jumping up to about 1,200, still at about that 15% rate, and that fluctuates in at about 17, 24 tops out at, so I guess, I don't know, precinct 17 had a giveaway that day, so fucking quarter of the people turned out. It was probably a shitty gift anyways. But you can always see, yeah, you got registered voters, voters cast. But then you get down to the city of Detroit, and they got their mail-in precincts. Now, guys notice a distinct lack of registered voters? That sure seems a little bit funny, hey? Now, how could you possibly cross-reference these mail-in ballots with registered voters if there's no registered voters at those polls? A little bit fucked up, hey? And that's what you see here at every single precinct. So are they not cross-referencing that? Because that seems a little bit off. And it's legitimately only for the city of Detroit. Like, the rest of this also breaks down the different little municipalities that are in there, like Grosse Pointe and Gwinnett. And where you've seen before, there was, yeah, like 100 and some odd votes that were coming in on election day. And what you're seeing here, compare and contrast with 1,700, 1,400, 1,800, 2,200. It gets the noggin jogging. So to say that things were out of whack definitely wasn't far off. But like I said, all this stuff will be linked. You guys can take a look at it because it's definitely sus. And now that you got officials who are down there and they got to see the results of this and they've signed affidavits, it's really hard to start to dismiss their information, because that's as close as you're going to get to actual information, is firsthand accounts of what the fuck went down there. So yeah, guys, Michigan is far from being settled at this point, and just because buddies on the board there, those two Democrats, think that there's no takebacks, yeah, they're going to be proved wrong in a fucking hurry. Anyways, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time, and once again, thank you for letting me hit 100 subscribers. That's, like I said, totally ridiculous, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.